I just want to make this video as a comment to what Sir Stephen Hawking said about philosophy being dead. He told this Google Zeitgeist conference that most of us don't worry about these questions most of the time, but almost all of us must sometimes wonder, why are we here? Where do we come from? Traditionally, these are questions for philosophy, but philosophy is dead. He also said, philosophers have not kept up with modern development in science, particularly physics. And then he also went on to claim that scientists have become the bearers of the torch of discovery in our quest for knowledge. I do agree with that last part. Scientists, they are becoming the bearers of the torch of discovery in our quest for knowledge, but because so much that is known about our observable universe is coming to light, with the advent of all these inventions, the advent of all this technology, they're beginning to see more of the observable universe, and that's beautiful. That's wonderful. Again, but my issue with Stephen Hawking's comment is that philosophy isn't dead. I mean, people might think it's dead, but it's not. And for him to say that we don't embrace modern developments in science, particularly physics, is a lie. Because if you were to see, most philosophers are actually now atheistic. If you're a Christian philosopher, you're pretty much regarded as a theologian. But if someone's an atheist, atheists wholeheartedly love and agree with science. I mean, as a non-theist, I don't believe in God, but I love science. So it's pretty much like a big correlation between the two. If you're an atheist or a non-theist, you must love science, and in a way, it's true. Because from what we can gather, what we can see in a realistic setting, the observable universe or natural world is what's there. I mean, we can argue whether or not existence exists, whether or not we exist, whether or not how do you say, for example, things like solipsism, acosmism. There are things to wonder. But again, that's pretty much where I'm going with this, is that science can't necessarily explain everything. I mean, I embrace science. I love science. I love things like cosmology, astrobiology, astrophysics, whatever they can explain about our universe. I love to read, because that's our observable universe. There are galaxies, there are different solar systems, just everything. The grand scope of everything is amazing. But again, this is my issue with why I said philosophy is dead, because there are so many questions still that even science either can't answer or won't be able to answer. Things that are transcendent of what reality is. For example, why are we here? What is our purpose? Science can explain how did we get here. I mean, the amalgamation of different atoms, the cooling of the earth, the scorching of the earth. There's so many things about the theories of our origin that can be explained by science. But of course, there's still the questions that are transcendent of what reality is. Why are we here? Does God exist? Is there, I guess what we'd call, is there a dualistic setting? Is there life after death? Are there external realities? There's still so many things that even science cannot answer, and that's what us as philosophers, that's what we're trying to do. For example, things that cannot be really tested by scientific methods, like morals, ethics, because things are so conventional that they differ from culture to culture. And then now we have the question of, well, if these things differ from culture to culture, there must be some sort of universal. And that's what ethics is trying to answer. Things like metaphysics, ontology, the nature of being, the question of reality, question of existence. Those are also things that cannot necessarily be answered by science, because there's no point for science to answer those questions, because science is about an observable thing, hypothesizing about an observable thing, and then creating a theory that will eventually become a law. And it's about realistic things. Philosophy is not. Philosophy is very metaphysical. It's about things that transcend our nature of being here, our nature of seeing, our nature of knowing what is real. It transcends all that, and that is what I believe what philosophy really is trying to do. It's trying to answer the questions that are transcendent of what realistic questions are. Science deals with the realistic questions. We deal with the transcendental realistic questions, the questions that are metaphysical. And that's all I really wanted to say about philosophy, is that it's not so much as it is dead. We're still trying to answer those questions that have been asked for the past 50,000 years that we've been here as humans. And I don't see why we can't exist side by side. I love science. As a philosophy student, I am a philosophy student. I love philosophy, and there's no reason not to embrace both.